Now we come to a very important polymer, rubber. Okay, rubber is elastic. So this property of elasticity makes it to come under the class of elastomers. So what are elastomers? These are the substances which have elasticity. That means they can be deformed on applying stress. And when you remove the stress, they come back to the original shape, right? Like the rubber, the normal rubber band, right? There are two types of rubbers, natural and synthetic. Natural rubber is available from the trees, from the latex, right? Synthetic rubber we of course synthesize in the laboratory. So we are going to learn about all this. Okay. So this is the lattice. You must have seen the white color sticky substance coming out of the tree. So this is collected. This is how the natives initially used to prepare rubber. So natural rubber is prepared. The production begins by collecting the latex, the milky white substance produced from the plants. And initially there is a cut made and that white substance just oozes out. So you just have to collect it properly. Okay. So once that is collected, now let's see the different steps. This is how it is processed naturally. So we add formic acid to this rubber, natural rubber. The mixture is kept for a certain time and then it hardens. The mixture hardens and then we put it into the mold. So the molding part takes place over here. Then it is pressed to remove excess of water. So once the water is removed, it has dried a bit. Now we can make it, roll it into a textured roller. So this is the first part. Now once this is done, we can dry it and now it is ready for further process. It is now ready for to be exported. This is how rubber is manufactured naturally. Okay, Thailand is the world supplier of natural rubber. Now, what exactly is this natural rubber? What is the unit of that natural rubber? Rubber is made up of polyisoprene. So the monomer here is isoprene, 1,3-butadiene. This is the basic unit. Isoprene is nothing but 2-methyl 1,3-butadiene. Okay, so that is also called as isoprene. So the basic unit of all types of rubber mostly is 1,3-butadiene. Remember this. Now, of course, this is unsaturated system of double bond. So, which type of polymerization is this? This is addition polymerization. Okay. Now, when these units of isoprene add to each other, imagine the second unit over here. So, it's like shifting of the bonds. This bond shifts over here. This bond shifts here, attaches itself to the new isoprene unit, and hence it continues. So, you get this unit of polyisoprene. Now look at this natural rubber, it has a double bond in it. So this is very much significance. What happens if that double bond is present? If you could recall, alkenes are more reactive than alkanes because of the weak pi bond. It can break easily, it can react easily. And this is the reason why this natural rubber has a lot of disadvantages because it can react very easily because of its structural makeup. So it's weak, it's brittle, it becomes sticky at high temperature. We cannot use natural rubber every day. Okay, you cannot just take the natural rubber, make something and just use it. It becomes sticky. It swells in water and organic solvents. It has low strength, it's not that strong, low durability. Oxidation resistance, of course, because of the double bond, it can get easily attacked by the chemicals. It can be easily attacked by the oxygen. So it undergoes oxidation very easily. So this rubber, we cannot just take it and mold it into something and use it directly. We have to process the natural rubber. So that is called as compounding of rubber. Mixing the rubber with different ingredients to improve the properties. And there is one more very important reaction that we're going to study. So what can we mix this rubber with? So these are some of the ingredients that we need to add into the rubber. So let's see one by one. Softeners and plasticizers. Rubber is itself very elastic. Okay. So we can improve its elasticity by adding few more ingredients like vegetable oils, waxes. Okay, such type of rubber is used as adhesives. Okay. Next is reinforcing materials to make it stronger, to fill up the gaps. So what it should be? It should be solid particles. So like carbon black, carbon is very stiff, very hard material. It makes our rubber very strong. Calcium carbonate, magnesium carbonate, it increases the strength and the rigidity. It decreases the elasticity of the rubber. Accelerators. So there is a reaction called as vulcanization that we are going to study right now. Just remember this word vulcanization. So accelerator is to accelerate something. So it accelerates or it increases the rate of vulcanization. Okay. So two mercapto sulfur compounds are added. Antioxidants very important. When you add these antioxidants, they prevent the oxidation of the rubber. So if you prevent the oxidation, the durability of the rubber increases. Coloring matter, no need to explain this, it imparts color. Titanium oxide, which is present in our talcum powder, okay? So these particles are added to make it white. Chromium oxide, clean. Trypsin red. So these are different particles, these are different salts which are added to rubber to give its different colors. And the most important reaction is the vulcanization reaction. Very important and very beautiful reaction. Vulcanization is addition of sulfur to increase the strength of the rubber. Now the discovery of rubber is also very interesting and vulcanization process is also very interesting. Vulcanization, what was this scientist name? Goodyear something. You can just Google it afterwards. So he accidentally discovered the vulcanized rubber. He was working on rubber and sulfur, and that sulfur accidentally fell on rubber, and a reaction started. And he got some black color charred like substance, but it was slippery. It was elastic, and then this new product, which was discovered by accident, he studied its properties, and then he came to know that the properties of rubber had changed because of this accidental spilling of sulfur of the rubber. And then after a lot of studies and experimentation, they zeroed up to a proper method of vulcanizing the rubber, like adding the sulfur to the rubber. Such type of rubber is generally used for making tires. Now we are looking at some synthetic rubber. Polyisoprene is a natural rubber. These are some example of synthetic rubber. So the first one is Buna S, where Buna stands for butadiene unit. Remember the rubber main unit is butadiene, 1,3-butadiene. So this is 1,3-butadiene. Styrene, double bond, unsaturated system. Addition, addition reaction takes place. Okay. So like this bond shifts here, this bond shifts, and the bonding takes place over here. This bond shifts here, bonding takes place over here. So it's like alternate units of butadiene and styrene are attached to each other. Okay. So this is how it is synthesized. This is a synthetic rubber. You also have Buna N, where instead of styrene you use nitride. Okay, CH3Cl. Now it possesses high elasticity, tough mechanical properties. It can be easily attacked by oxidizing agents, mainly ozone, and to overcome this property, we can always carry out vulcanization. Even synthetic rubbers are vulcanized. Discovery of synthetic rubber is also very interesting because when people first found out the natural rubber, where the natives were using it as a ball to play, so when people used to go places, when initially when they used to travel, they came across this rubber bouncy thing, which they started calling rubber, and then they distributed this rubber all over the world. People start wearing it, using it, and they found that there were some disadvantages of this rubber. Okay, but the unit was very useful. The synthetic unit was very useful. So during the World War, the synthetic rubber was discovered, and then there was no stopping. Initially people started planting rubber trees everywhere all around the world, and then synthetic rubber people started synthesizing synthetic rubber just to meet the demands for the world war, because natural rubber was not that enough to meet the demand. So scientists started invented these rubbers. Okay. uh, so these are some of the uses: manufacturing of tires, wires and cables, adhesives, soles. So you just look anywhere you have so many uses of rubber. You can see these are all vulcanized rubber. The rubber that we use is basically vulcanized rubber with different proportions of sulfur in it. Next rubber is silicone rubber. If you could go to the second video, I have already mentioned the polymer of silicone. Okay, silicone is a polymer of silicon element and oxygen where they are alternately arranged, right? So that is a silicone rubber. And apart from oxygen and silicon, it has also carbon, hydrogen. Very stable polymer, extremely beautiful polymer, very tough polymer, resistant to all types of chemicals and extreme environments, highly inert material. Okay, it does not react with any chemicals. It can be used as medical implants. We had just seen in the first two slides. High tensile strength, wear and tear strength. Okay, so very beautiful rubber. With lots of applications. Synthetic skins. Okay, uh, you must have seen this robots. The well-known robot is Sophia. It is so the body of these robots are made up of silicon rubber. Okay, prosthetic pieces, special effects skin and props are made up of silicon. Applications, automotive applications, cooking, baking, sportswear applications are unlimited. Electronics, medical, repair and hardware. There are so many applications because of its advantages. Few more applications I have mentioned over here. Every one of us have come across uh, more than one of these objects, right? Silicon molds for chocolate makings and everything. We use this, right? Silicon insole, silicon rubber hose, heat insulating sheets, bracelets, swim products. Applications are unlimited. Very useful polymer. Next is polyurethane rubber, one of the most toughest, most abrasion resistant rubber, okay, most engineered rubber that exists today. It is a unique material. It has the elasticity of the rubber, also the toughness and durability of a metal. So just look at the contradiction over here. It's durable as metal which is supposed to be very hard, yet it is very elastic. Okay, this is polyurethane. This is how it is. This functional group is the urethane functional group. Okay, fine. And this is the isocyanate functional group, and this is the alcohol functional diol basically. And this is how the reaction takes place, and we get this polymer. So it's abrasion resistant, heat resistant, lot of load bearing capacity, very tough, impact resistant, excellent wear and tear properties, tough like metals, oil and solvent resistant, very good insulating properties. You can change these functional groups over here. You can get different types of polyurethanes. Extremely beautiful polymer. Gaskets, gears, seals. Just look at the wide range of applications, cutting surfaces, molds, okay, machine parts. So they can absorb noise and vibration also. They are very good, have a very good acoustics in acoustics where we want a soundproof room. We can use this. Okay, molded wire, cable assemblies, coating industries, can industries, lot of applications, gas, beverage manufacturing. We can use polyurethane. Okay, like almost we have completed this. I hope, has anybody seen these numbers? So if you, after this, you can just have a look at the bottles or the plastic material that we have. So these indicate how many times we can reuse it. Okay, the PET bottles, the Bisleri bottles generally, they have this number one. Only use it only once. Okay, so but we use it. You know how we use the Bisleri bottle. So this tells you the durability of the plastic. Higher the number, more durable is the plastic. Okay, so, but the one thing is that you people have to remember, be careful when you are using plastic because in spite of all these advantages and so many beautiful properties of plastic, it is not biodegradable. That is the biggest disadvantage. And the way we are using it, we are just dumping plastic in our environment and just creating hell lot of pollution. So be careful how you use plastic. At least we can stop using the normal plastic bag, just replace it with a cloth bag. That is what one thing we can do. Reuse, recycle. Okay, do this to avoid having a polymer planet. I hope you people have understood this. Watch all the three videos, part 1, part 2, and this is part 3, you to get a better understanding of this topic. Thank you all of you. Do subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching.